Welcome back to another edition of Why It Works. I am Joelle Martinek here in Los Angeles from Ginger Soul Photography. And today we are taking a look at gorgeous dancer Kennedy. She has been in my lens a lot. And we're going to take a look at this image from a really beautiful overcast morning at the beach. One of the things that I absolutely love about this image is sort of the monochromality, can I say that, of this image. Again, people oftentimes are very freaked out when it is cloudy outside, but what happens photography-wise is it creates this beautiful, really even diffused light, and it is very flattering and quite lovely. This was one of those mornings, and while we were picking out what she was going to wear, it was also a little chilly, so we gave her a sweater. But I also love that we kind of made this monochrome with her wardrobe as well. Since we're talking about wardrobe, let's take a look, right? So what we can see here is, the sort of chiffon skirt creates one sort of feeling and texture, and then her sweater creates a little more groundedness, right? The skirt's a little more ethereal, the sweater's a little bit more grounded. So love that, sort of that juxtaposition of textures there in an image where there's not a whole lot of texture elsewhere, right? So I did shoot this on my 70 to 200 at 200. So I was very far away from her, but I knew I wanted to compress this background. This is a row of condos and Airbnbs that are back there, sort of on the beach. So the tide was very low, so we had lots of sort of open sand around us. So compositionally, it is actually a very centered image because, she is here just kind of in the center, but then also we've got her reflection, right? So doing like a rule of thirds or a golden ratio here doesn't work because of, I wanted to make sure I got the full entire reflection of, all the way up to her hand here. So it's a very centered composition, but it's still visually interesting because of the idea of that reflection. Creating, again, just more texture and a little more depth within the image. So we're going to take a look really quick at her position. Normally at the beach, I really dislike when you don't see the dancer's full entire appendage, right? But here, her foot, again, because the reflection is there, it doesn't feel like we are losing her foot, and her foot is gorgeous. So we're still seeing that arch right there. So it lets us know that, she is really on top of that foot. And then back here again, right, riding over that foot just a little bit so that we still get that full entire line. Right, and then we're watching her eyes focus up straight to her hand, so that creates, movement, if you will, and just connection to there, right? And then I did have her, she wasn't necessarily like holding on to this, although she probably did actually, but she got into it by throwing her head back just a little bit so that we could create a little bit of movement within her hair as well. When I'm working with dancers, I always remind them, right, that we're actually not looking for a static image most times, for me anyway. Obviously it's a single image, so it is static, but I want to create the illusion of movement always. So her skirt does that really lovely, and then also that hair does that really lovely. Again, love this reflection. It's not always that we get this much wet sand at the beach and get sort of that clear reflection, but when it happens, oh man, it's some of my favorite. And right, it's just a lovely position, and I love the monochromaticness of the image, right? The waves were coming in very soft here. And I just really love this image. And these are all the reasons I think this image works. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me a comment down below. And as always, have a great day.